Hey guys, okay, so talking about relating multiplication and division today. By the end of today's lesson, we're going to be able to say we can use fact families to see how multiplication and division are related. So let's go ahead and get started with the solve and share first. All right, so today's problem is asking us to use 24 counters to make arrays with equal rows. Write the multiplication and the division equations to describe our arrays. So first of all, we got to build our array, right? So let's go ahead and build that array. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to have 6 in each row here. So let me build in those 24 little counters, and I apologize, it's not perfect, but you know, human error. All right, so there's our 24 little counters, right? So now it's asking us to have them in equal rows, done, and write the multiplication and division equations to describe our arrays. Okay, so if we were going to write a multiplication sentence to describe this array, we have to have how many rows there are, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? By how many are in each column, or sorry, how many columns we have. So how many are in each row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. So 4 times 6 is our multiplication sentence, right? Now, if we're going to create a division sentence, it really helps if we know how many pieces there are. So if we already know there's 24, right, because they told us build an array with 24 of them in there, we can now take that 24 and turn it into a division sentence. Okay, so now we're going to take the 24. We're going to divide it by each row, right? So there are 4 rows. So we're going to divide it by 4 equals how many in each row? Well, there's 6 in each row, right? We can go back and double check our math. If we multiply these two numbers back together, it should equal this number, okay? If it doesn't equal this number, then you need to go back and try it again because it means that you messed it up somewhere in the division process, okay? So again, relating how our division sentence can do or undo itself with a multiplication sentence, okay? So if we start with 24, we divide it by 4, it equals 6. If we have 4 times 6, it still equals 24, okay? So multiplication undoes division, and division undoes multiplication. All right, let's go ahead and go to our next section. So now we've got our visual learning for today. By the way, please make sure that you are on page 118 in your workbook pages so you can follow along, just to make sure you have something in front of you, all right? Again, because those equal groups of 10 drums. Well, there could be a number of different ones, right? So let's go ahead and try it. It says, choose a multiplication expression to show the array and fact family that go together. So if we have 1 times 6, well, if we look through the rest of it, does that make sense? No, because there were more than 6 in each row. There were 10 in each row. All right, what about 2 and 8? Nope, still not having those in the right amount. What about 3 times 10? Ooh, we know that there were 3 rows and 10 in each, right? That's the same as 3 times 10 equals 30, or 10 times 3. Again, you can flip them over for that associative property. But we also have the division fact families here, okay? So that would be 30 divided by 10 is 3, or 30 divided by 3 is 10. Okay, we're going to be adding those to our definitions in our notebooks as well here in a moment. But thinking about the fact families here, how these guys are related to one another based on the numbers. That's actually what we're going to be writing in our notebooks today, okay? So go ahead and take out your reading notebook. You're going to think I'm crazy, but you're going to take out your reading notebook so that way we can flip it to the very back cover and add math to the back side of it, okay? So you're going to end up making your notebook look something like this. Okay, so we're going to actually flip it to the back side. The buttons are the little dots on the left-hand side. Should be actually the back and upside down. See, back and upside down version of your notebook so we can write math. So that way we have a place to put our math definitions. Okay? Go ahead and pause my video as you go and grab that, and I will see you here in just a few moments. Okay, so now that you have your notebook, you should be able to flip to the back side like I said. Okay, now that you have your notebook out, should be on the back side of your reading notebook, right? Because like I said, it's upside down and backwards of your reading notebook. We're going to put math. Go ahead and create your table of contents. So we're talking about each lesson from here. So lesson 4-1, we're going to put what will be page 1, okay? So go ahead and pause my video and then write that down. All right, and then on the next page, you're going to put a 1 on the top right-hand corner. Lesson 4-1. We're going to add all of these different words, okay? So our first word on here is dividend. Now, dividend is the number of objects to be divided. So again, when we were talking about those 24 pieces, dividing those into the different rows is a dividend. That 24 is the dividend, okay? Then we have the divisor. The divisor is the number by which another number is divided. So 24 divided by 4, right, would give us 6. So that 4 would be that divisor. It's divisor, divising, it's what we divide with, okay? Then we've got quotient. A quotient is the answer in a division problem. So just how the product was in a multiplication problem, now the quotient is the answer in a division problem, all right? Then we have a fact family. And by the way, don't worry if you need to pause the video, you can at any point, but we're just going to go through them really quick. So a fact family is a group of related facts using the same numbers. So again, that 10 times 3 equals 30, or 30 divided by 3 equals 10, the ones we just saw in the visual learning, help us with that fact family. Okay, group of related facts using the same numbers. Then we've also got our product. Remember that product is the answer to a multiplication problem, all right? And factors. This one's a bonus one. Factors are numbers that are multiplied together to give a product. So in a multiplication, like 3 times 2, the 3 and the 2 are the factors, okay? Go ahead and make sure that you have those in your notebook because we're going to be using them over the next few days, okay? Pause my video again, and I will see you in just a moment back at our visual learning. All right, friends, so back to our visual learning. Here we go. Remember the dividend, divisor, and quotient that we talked about a moment ago?
The dividend is the number of objects being divided. The divisor is the number by which another number is divided. The quotient is the answer to a division problem. Remember, a product is the answer to a multiplication problem. What do you notice about the product and the dividend in these equations? They are the same number. Why are they the same? The product and the dividend show the total number of objects. You now know how to relate multiplication and division facts.
See? Pretty easy. All right, let's go ahead and go to our next page then. Now we're going to be starting getting into our own practice, all right? With the convince me part, so understanding, So if 4 times 7 equals 28 is in one fact in a fact family, right? Let's draw an array for that fact. So taking our little tool here, we're going to have, again, remember, first number is the rows, so there's 4 rows. And then we got to put 7 in each row. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'll fill those in as well. Not perfect, but no one's perfect. All right, so there's the 4 by 7 array. And there's 28 little circles on there, because we already know that. Now, we have to write the 3 other facts in the fact family. So if we already have 4 times 7 here, right? We know that 7 times 4 is in there, because it's just flipping it over, right? But now it starts getting tricky because we have to start dividing. So we know that 4 times 7 is 28. So we already know that there are 28 little pieces in there. And we're going to divide it first by the rows. So how many rows do we have? Great! We had 4 rows. So 28 divided by 4 equals how many in each row? Well, there's 7 in each row, right? So 28 divided by 4 equals 7. Again, if you want to double check yourself, 4 times 7 is still 28. We've already done that. Now let's go ahead and get the last one. So 28 is our total pieces, right? Now we're going to have to divide it by what? You're right. We have to divide it by 7, right? Because now we're dividing by how many in each row equals how many rows? There are 4 of them. So 28 divided by 7 equals 4. And again, you can multiply 4 and 7 back together to get 28 to double check your answer. All right, let's go ahead and move on. So here in our guided practice, we're not going to worry about 1 and 2 for today because that's not what we're going to be using. But we are going to look over here on 3 through 5. All right? So let's walk through the first one together. The first one says 3 times 7 equals 21. All right, so we already know that. Now it's flipping us over and saying, okay, we have 21 pieces. Now we're dividing it by 3. If we're still looking up here at our original fact family number here of 3 times 7 equals 21, we've already used the 3, right? We've used the 3. We've used the 21. What's left? You're right, the 7. Because 21 divided by 3 is 7. And if we double check by multiplying 7 times 3, then that equals 21. So our answer is correct. All right, so next one says, starting with a division problem. So we know there are 18 pieces. We divide it by 2, and it equals 9. Now, if we were going to double check our answer, pretending that we filled in this one, we can multiply 9 by 2 to double check that it makes 18. Ooh, that actually gives us our answer down here, because 2 times, we said 9, right? Because we're double checking our answer again, equals 18. So that already gave us our answer. And then our last one here is 2 times 10 equals 20. Okay, pretty easy to understand. Now we're starting with 20, dividing it by 2. Again, we've used the 2, we've used our 20. What's left? You're right, it's a 10. That's the only number left in our equations, okay? And you can always go back and multiply 10 by 2 to double check that it is in fact 20. All right, my friends? Okay, I'm going to have you go ahead and complete 6 through 13 in your independent practice on Savas today on the interactive practice. And you're going to be doing the quick check for lesson 4-1 for me, okay? Please, 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 I'm begging you, take your time. I want you to go back and double check your work before you hit submit, okay? You need to double check your work. Make sure that, okay, does this make sense if you walk through it again versus just a, oh, I did it once, okay, move on. All right, so please make sure that you are being careful to double check your answers, all right? And I will see you tomorrow. So, bye, guys.